The Denise and Newsome Show will inspire you to pick up yourself and go. You will find it's all you need to do. Reach down inside and find out you're the one. You don't want to fly, yeah. Don't want to read, yeah. You can do all things, just tune in.
Blessings to you. Blessings to you. Come on in. Come on in. I am going to ask you to please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Today on the Denise Newsome Show, we are going to continue celebrating National Foster Care Month with our co host, author Black Diamond. Black Diamond is a international speaker, social worker, parent life coach, and award-winning author. She has been working with children, their parents, and families for almost 40 years. With that, I am going to ask you to please give your full attention to Black Diamond and her special guest, Tania Green, which they will be discussing supporting teen mothers in foster care, the myths, the facts, and life after foster care. Black Diamond.
Hi, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for having me as the host this month. This month means so much to me. As you mentioned, I've been working with foster care and adoption for such a long time that I could not let this month go by without celebrating Foster Care Month. And what better person than to have Miss Tania Green celebrate the information about Tania Green. I've been knowing
Had it.
Tania over 30 years, but I'm going to let her handle it and let you know how we met and how we came about to know each other. But she's going to be giving us insight on her journey as a teen parent through the foster care system. Tania Green, let us know, tell the guests or tell everybody else how we got to know each other and to expand on the journey of you through foster care.
Well, blessings, everyone. Blessings, Black Diamond. Thank you for having me. Um, our journey started in 1998, where I was actually ward of the court. I was a teen mother, and I met you at one of our mother and child's located in New York City. I think I was the first one at the house, first grand opening of the mother and child. I was the first one at the house. It was it was a great beginning. It was a welcoming, warming beginning. That was a blessing in disguise because we were scared. Teen moms, new home, new borough, new faces, new staff. We don't know who these people are, but you and others did give us a welcome, a warming welcome when we got there.
You guys made it so much easier to work with you. Let me ask you, do you believe youth in foster care have much higher rates of adolescent pregnancy and childbearing than their peers?
Yes. Um, in the rate of foster care, we don't always have staff that are going to follow through all the time with the directives that these children need. Um, Sometimes they're free to do whatever they want. With that being said, there's no consequence for their actions. They come and go as they please. They interact with everyone that's outside. There's no structure in a lot of the homes. Fortunately, you run into a few where there is structure and it could give you the proper guidance to help you out as a team.
Right, right, and that's one of the things that you guys had, and I'm going to speak as it's personal because it gets personal between
Yeah.
Miss Green, Tania, and myself because we I don't even want to say I worked in the home, we lived in that home, together. She was what they called the resident, and I was the staff in the home, but it was more like a family home. Every day might not have been a good day in foster care. Describe to me what one of your worst days were like being a teen mom and what could have made it better.
One of the worst days was when my son and I were separated. During that time, teen pregnancy was at a high rate, but there was no housing for a lot of teen moms and their children. There was a waiting period. So unfortunately, your baby went to a foster home while you went to a group home and you waited. That was the worst day for me in foster care as a teen mom.
So you say it wasn't something that she did. It was just that we didn't have enough homes for teen moms, and they weren't actually shelling out housing for some. Some of them were minors, so they could not give them housing. They couldn't
Yeah.
sign a lease, and they couldn't ensure that they would be responsible for it. And what they considered them as ward of the states, they didn't at that time want them actually living on their own in their own apartments. So they brought them into some of the homes, which is the one of the homes that Tania was in. Besides your child, what meant the most to you while you were in foster care?
Getting out of foster care. Uh, I was in foster care at a young age, at the age of 6. So at this time where you and I met, I've already spent a decade in and out of foster care. So once I became a mother, it was a goal of mine to get out of foster care. I didn't want to be a part of that system anymore. I wanted to, protect my child and raise him on my own.
There's been a big push to place siblings in a single foster home together. I believe that is just as important for teens to be placed in the same foster home as their children. Was there a time that you thought that you would be separated from your child once you came into the mother baby home?
Um, no, that particular home, and I say particular home because not all of them will run the same. That particular home, I felt safe. I didn't feel that I was going to be separated. I didn't feel that I was in danger. It was a safe space. It was a place for us to raise our babies. It gave us a time to learn how to become mothers, to learn how to become productive teenage mothers. I mean, going to school, finding part-time jobs. So I rarely had any worries about him being removed from me once I was placed with him in the mother and child program in that
I'm,
particular home.
I'm not going to take the credit for that, even though I worked in the home. I give the credit to the youth, to Tania and the other young ladies that worked in that home, because they worked their backside off to show everyone that they weren't just teen mothers and that they were doing it just for themselves. They were doing it for their children as well. And we saw that every day. Now, I left after a certain amount of years being in it with you, being a parent when you were in foster care? And if not, what do you believe could have helped prepare you?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Do you believe that you were prepared at being a parent when you were in foster care? And if you were not prepared, what do you believe could have helped you?
I was not prepared. I don't think any teen mom is really prepared. Emotionally, you may be prepared because you feel like you're going to have your own, but I was nowhere near prepared. Um, what could have prepared me? Education, knowing the struggles of what you would go through as a teen mom, knowing the pros and the cons, knowing exactly what the steps ahead are going to take. You, as a teen mother, you don't think about all of that. You think of, diapers, Enfamil, and a roof over your head. You don't think about going back to school. Sometimes you don't think about childcare. You don't think about those 3, 4 o'clock in the morning cries when you got to rush them to the emergency room. So education would have been a major factor in how I would have raised my kid once he was born.
Right,
That
right.
makes
And
sense.
speaking of
Yeah.
education, addressing sexual and reproductive health with teens is often a controversial subject. And a lot of people don't feel as though because we're an agency and we're not the biological parents of the teens that come through there, that we should be talking to them about sex and about protection and stuff. Do you believe teens who have frequent conversations about a variety of subjects related to sex and sexual health education have access in health services, do you believe that it's more likely to delay their sex until they get older? In other words, what I'm asking is, if we've spoken more about sex and sex education, do you think that it would delay some of the youth of wanting to have sex because we're talking about it more to them?
I would say I don't think it would delay them practicing the act of sex. I think they will become more preventative in being safe and taking different precautionary measures or not having sex at all. Sex is always a hidden topic. I don't know why. It needs to be discussed right now in this day and age. It's everywhere. You can't hide any of it. So you have to speak about it. You have to speak out about it from all angles. These children don't need surprises anymore. Education is key at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So they need it needs to be spoken of.
Now, the place that you were in, where it was a group home, is what the state called it, a group home. But again, we all felt like it was our family home. We came, we went, we saw each other every day, like the mom and the dad was going out to work. Foster parents who have the child living in their home with their families have it a little bit different. Do you think that foster parents should have that conversation with the children that they're fostering?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It has to go. Children should be having this conversation anywhere, whether they're home in foster care. This is just to be a conversation that needs to take hand. Absolutely, they're raising a child. Child has to face society at some point in time. You can't hide the factors of life from them. You're raising a child, so foster homes more likely supposed to be raised as your own, a part of the family at the end of the day. So that's a conversation that needs to take place, biologically or not.
Well said. Definitely well said. What is the one thing that you remember that made you feel like you were valued when you were in care?
Having positive staff tell me that I'm going to be something. Tell me that I'm going to conquer. Tell me that I'm going to achieve. Those words of encouragement and wisdom keeps your head up. It makes you feel worth something more than what you're so-called stamped already to be. So hearing those encouraging words like, oh, I see you doing a great job with your son, or you did great in school, or that's great, you got a job, you're going to be something, you're going to break that cycle. That definitely keeps you feeling valued mentally, emotionally, and spiritually at all times.
One thing that I want to ask you, one last question. Well, I might have more than one because I can sit here and talk with you forever.
No
In
problem.
one word, using the first letter of your first name, what is life after foster care?
Triumphant. I've conquered. I have beautiful kids. They're safe, well-mannered. I broke the cycle. So I walk with my head high every day. And when I see young girls like me, I take the time out to pull them to the side, attitude and all. You can start on 100, but I'm going to start on 20. You're going to come down eventually. I understand your anger. I understand why you're upset. You might not even understand why you're upset, but I understand why you're upset. But it doesn't have to go this way. You can go another route.
It makes me so proud to sit here and hear you. Because I remember this young lady that was on 100 coming through the door, telling staff where she was going to be.
I mean,
what she was going to, and she just made it up the steps and claimed her room. You have come, I'm not even going to say you've come a long way because I knew you were going to be going places. You came in there and you knew exactly what you wanted. You knew exactly what you wanted to do. And we were talking a little bit before the show had started about the routine in the house. Tell us about some of those things that occurred in the house. And this is not snitching. This is just some of the things that occurred in the house.
We cooked together. We played music together. We had a routine. So it was 3 of us, 3 babies. 6:45. If I'm not mistaken, Black Diamond, I think you are the reason we had that schedule because you did that shift, so you was not playing. 6:45, we got the kids ready. 7 o'clock, everyone was in baths. We would either rotate one mother, give all three, one dries, one lotion. By 7:30, everyone was downstairs watching Wheel of Fortune. The babies were having their last bottle. It used to be like, all right, now it's 8 o'clock. You have to go do, go do what you want to do. Go chill, get your nails, go outside. And that's the way it was. It was a family. It was a
These
family setting.
these young ladies were so trusted that they we normally do the food shopping for them, but they were given the money was broken up and they were each given money for themselves and then monies to buy stuff for the babies as well. And they had their own cabinets. They put the food on each one of them claimed the shelf. And it was wonderful. We had the basement with the extra storage of the
Yeah,
Pampers and everything. We
yeah.
didn't have to worry about locking it up because it didn't
No,
steal anything. We
no.
had the supplies upstairs with the lotions and the soap and the towels. They didn't steal anything. They had the wash and
Remember
the
that.
dryers, and they were trusted of coming back home on curfew. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
knew, and sometimes we went, I guess, outside of the box. They knew our families. Our families came in. I used to remember one of the young ladies used to work my husband's nerves by just calling him with my last name, and that irritated him so much. And he would say to me, why does she keep doing that? I said, because it irritates you and you
Yeah.
allow it to happen. And this is what we say, this was more like a family thing that they knew, they knew those little things about us and we knew about them and we got to know their families as well. And just to let them know that they were in good hands, that we were going to do what we could, but it was basically up to them. And I think there was a time where a young lady, I don't know if it was this house or another house, where a young lady had the opportunity to move out to go into her independent and she did not want to go.
It was our house. She stayed.
She stayed. She did
She
not want to
stayed.
leave.
Yeah,
And
I
we just
remember
kept
that.
looking like it's time for you to go. And
Why?
she just did not. You guys didn't
Me,
understand
I was
why.
like,
If
what
it was
up,
me,
baby?
I was
Just be
going.
out. Yeah, I remember that. But it was understandable. I think I forget her name, but I remember exactly she was one of the last mothers before I left. That was during the Y2K scare. Remember that?
Mhm.
Uh, I remember that, and if I'm not mistaken, me and my roommate at the time, we were like, "Why not?" She was like, "I'm scared." She didn't have nobody out there, so respect given when due. She knew she wasn't ready at that moment, and she knew she needed more guidance and more help. So
And you guys did that. You helped
yeah,
her as if she was your
yeah,
sister, and you
yeah,
continued to work with her, and you continued to work with each other, and it just was a beautiful thing for you guys to just embrace each other the way that you did, and to embrace your children. And I follow you guys on Facebook, and I guess that's how I found you. And I found
hmm
some of the others, and then when I see the children, I was like, oh my gosh, this is not
I
this child.
know.
And one of the things I found myself doing, the babies were so beautiful. I started giving them nicknames as if they
Hmm
were my own grandchildren. And I just
hmm
throughout history, I just kept calling them by those names. I think your son was Big Pun, and
Yeah, he was a
we
chunky
had
one.
George Jefferson
Yeah,
for one of them.
that was Lionel. I remember that.
It was just
I remember
so
that.
funny. And then sweet little Rosa Parks. That was
Yes.
another one of my babies. And I
Oh,
seen her with her mother on Facebook. And I just wanted to cry. I said, look at these
yeah.
babies. They're not babies anymore.
hmm
They're just as grown as their parents was when I was meeting them for the first time.
Yeah.
It was just so unbelievable. I remember some of the times when we had the agency van and
Yeah.
we needed to go shopping or we needed to do certain things and other houses wanted to borrow our van. No, 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 no. You couldn't
Nope.
borrow our van.
Nope. Yeah, I'm not buying without nope.
You could not
That's
borrow
our
the
van.
van because it was ours. It
And
was
we
ours.
cleaned our van. That was
And one of
our
the
van.
things that I am so proud of you about and the other young ladies is that nobody on the block knew that was a group home.
No.
They
No.
thought that it was just family, that the mothers that lived
Yeah.
there, and we were going out to go to work, and we was coming in early in the morning, and you
Yeah.
guys were well behaved. And again, it had nothing to do with us. It was you yourself, that you knew exactly what you wanted to do. And they came in the evening they got those babies. They spent their quality time with those babies, and they went
Yeah.
to their rooms and prepared those babies for their evenings, and they came back down. They cooked. They had those shifts going. That this one was cooking
Mhm.
this meal, and they had it prepared. It was like clockwork. I remember one thing I want to ask you. Do you remember? Do you remember the point sheets?
Yes. You see my face? Yes, I do. That's very it annoyed us so much. If I'm not mistaken, it was based on us getting our allowance at the end of the week. Ah, Black Diamond, you enforced that so much. I think you knew who we could get it away with it, you know. So you came in prepared, like, yeah, not me. We're not doing that. What's going on? Why is this here? Why is this here? Why is this here? And we used to be like, oh, but that helped us in my house because I do a point system in my house. There's a chore chart at 20
Yeah.
between their ages. They still have chores. Listen, collectively, we all have to work together at the end of the day, keep the house maintained. And you made a comment about, no one knew it was a group home. I think by that time, we've traveled around so much and we've been in so many homes, and that label has been on us. We didn't want nobody to know it was a group home. We didn't want anybody to find a reason to come over there. It's like, this is where our kids are at. It's quiet. We're good. Sweep up the front, keep it neat. That's it. No one needed to know that that was a group home, because then sometimes you have unnecessary drama, and our babies were there,
Right. Right.
So.
You guys did so well with everything. I remember one of the things that we used to say, even you guys picked it up and said it to us staff, and I still say it to my children this day, and they look at me like, where you coming from with that? And I say to them, you're worrying about the wrong thing. And I often say
I do that now.
we would say
I do
it,
that now.
that you're worrying about the wrong thing. And it was like, where'd you get that
Yeah.
from? And I said, you just had to be there. You just had to
Yeah.
be there. Supporting teen mothers in foster care, the myths, the facts, and life after foster care. The myths: all kids born to teen parents in foster care wind up in foster care themselves. That is totally a myth. The fact: there are several independent living programs to provide the tools these young parents need to become productive, such as educational services for youth working towards a high school diploma or GED. They have employment services for youth who need vocational training or career planning, and housing services for youth who need help finding a place to live. These are all those independent services that are provided to these youth, and they're called ILPs. Some of them are called that. They transition into those once they become 18 years of age, and they can start to live on their own with some support from the agencies. They continue to have that. Most teens and parents are not ready to live independently at age 18. Some don't reach full maturity until age 23 or 25. And out of those, only a few have the judgment and skills to live independently. Though a teen in foster care may be a few years away from aging out of the system, they are still a child. However, they never outgrow us. If you are currently fostering children or thinking about fostering, I encourage you to explore becoming a foster parent for teen moms or dads with their children. We have a lot of teen dads who are coming into care as well. Watching a young parent and their child interact appropriately is a joy. This is your opportunity to get involved because it really does take a village. Contact your local Department of Social Services and let them know you would like to foster a teen parent or shared parenting, which builds a level of responsibility and a level of trust. We ask you to think about becoming a foster parent. I am a foster parent. I am the parent of 12 children. My youngest is 9 and my oldest is 45. I have 3 biological children. And in the beginning, we mentioned I have been doing this for over 40 years. Now, I can't say, am I going to turn around and do this again because I'm getting a little bit older now, but I have grandchildren now. But my house is usually open. I'm not going to give up my address because by tomorrow morning, I'll probably see some children at my door. But my heart is always, always open to children and families and trying to support children. I want you all to join us next week when we'll be determining the best interest of the child. It's a grandparent's rights, and our guest will be Dr. Evangelist Sonia Gray and Elder Troy Brown Davis. I want to have the best for you, and I want everybody to stay favorably safe. We are also doing fundraisers so we can support our children who are in foster care, who have been traveling and carrying their bags, their personal belongings in trash bags. We would like for you to go through togetherwerise.org/fundraise/family matters, the number 2, so we can purchase these sweet cases for our children who are in foster care. Again, I would love to thank you so much, Tania,
Thank you
for
for
joining
having
us
me.
tonight. It has been a blast. I will definitely stay in touch. I
Pleasure.
will be coming to New York. I hope to see you, Big Pun, and the rest of the crew,
Yeah.
as well as all the other young
Absolutely.
ladies. He's probably going to look at me
Absolutely.
like I'm crazy, like, Mom, why is she calling me Big Pun? Your mom will
He
fill
sees
you
the
in,
picture.
speedy on the story. This has been
Thank you so much for
wonderful.
having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. It has always been a pleasure to speak with you. Again, thank you all. Thank you to the Denise Newsom Show for having us cover National Foster Care Month. Again, we will be back next week, the same time. You can catch us here at Facebook, and you can also catch us on YouTube Live. There is a Newsom Show live, and it'll probably and more than likely be posted on my page as well. My information has been going across the screen. If you need to contact me, I am always available to talk to anyone when it comes to foster care and adoption.